so many working professionals want to earn some extra money from a real estate side hustle. They don't want to leave their full-time job. They like their full-time job, or at least they tolerate it. They're just looking to earn some extra money on the side, perhaps with a real estate related side hustle. And wholesaling for a lot of people is that side hustle. And our guest today, Nathan Payne, he's a real estate wholesaler. He's an educator who helps other investors score great deals consistently in their real estate investments. And Nathan, I'm excited to chat with you today about some of the ways that people can wholesale on the side of their job, not put in a ton of hours, maybe just do a handful of deals a year, but earn, an extra five figures a year from a real estate wholesaling side hustle.
Yeah, of course. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it. There's two different ways that I teach, usually the people I work with. So you have your paid, like your paid options where you can go and get inbound leads to come in, or people that are going to come into you and say, "Hey, I want to sell my house." And that can be through mailers or pay per click or pay per lead, or like there's a lot of services out there that can provide leads or people who want to sell if you pay for that. So that's one of the options. And another option is you go out and you do outbound, right? You start calling people that are on specific lists that where they should be motivated to sell, right? Pre-foreclosure, tax lien, probate. And you're reaching out to these people and you're just seeing if they are willing to sell. And if they are willing to sell, then you take them through a process where you're just trying to figure out what you can offer. And basically you're just seeing if you can buy their house. Now, when you wholesale, you don't actually ever buy the house. You just sign an agreement with the seller to buy it at a specific price. And you take that contract and you assign that contract to an end buyer for a fee. So that's why it's a good side hustle. And that's why a lot of people like to do it, is because it requires no money in order to like buy the home, right? You never actually own the property. So, for anybody that's listening, it's a great option. I actually work with a lot of people that do this part-time. They'll go to their job and then after work, they'll call for a couple hours or on Saturday. And basically they're looking for those opportunities, whether they're paying for the leads or if they're going out and doing the work themselves. And then as they find those opportunities, I actually help people and work with them to kind of help them know like the next steps. Cause I'm not just going to like, you're not going to listen to this podcast and just be like immediately know exactly what to say to sellers, right? It
Oh,
takes
sure. It's a
time.
it's a whole business. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a whole business, but it is a good opportunity. And, I've done a lot of deals by just keeping my eyes peeled and knowing, talking to like friends and family, neighbors, and being like, "Hey, I'm looking to buy real estate." Right. So, it's, you don't even have to do that crazy of like outbound lead generation or inbound. You just have to keep your eyes peeled and tell people you're looking for investment properties or properties that you're looking to fix and flip or rent. And, then from there, you can wholesale the properties that come your way that make sense.
Yeah. So, and you touched on something that's really important, and that's one of the big advantages of wholesaling is that you don't need much money, right? All
That's
you
right.
really need is the earnest money deposit, and even that can be, very small, $500 or something. I mean, I've even seen some wholesalers put down almost nothing as a
Yeah.
earnest
Like a
money
dollar,
deposit,
ten
and then you
dollars.
get, yeah, yeah, exactly, and then often they get that money back within a few days, from the end buyer who's
Right.
taking that contract. So that's really appealing for a lot of people who don't want to sink, tens of thousands of dollars as a down payment in a rental property or in a flip. They don't want to have to
Right.
hassle
They don't
with,
want to take that risk. Right.
yeah, yeah, deal with contractors and renovations and permits and inspections and all that stuff that flippers have to deal with. Um, so, a lot of people who are new to wholesaling, they don't really have much of a sense of how much wholesalers can and do earn. So,
Mhm.
walk us, and obviously, there's a broad range of that depending
Right.
on how good the deal is and so forth. But just broadly speaking, in general, how much do wholesalers earn from each deal that they do?
I would say average wholesalers make anywhere from like 15 to $25,000 per deal. But again, it just really depends on your strategy. Like for me, like I like to look at opportunities and say, okay, what's going to make me the most on this? And sometimes it isn't wholesaling. Sometimes it's taking it down, right? And keeping it as a rental or burring it or fixing it. But if we're going to go towards wholesaling, usually I'll wholesale something like when it's like a very big project that I wouldn't want to flip or keep myself. And I'm like, I don't want to do that rehab. Let me just assign it to someone else that's willing to do that and has that bandwidth and, and make the money that way. But, does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. And
Yeah.
one final thought here. One of the things that I've heard from other wholesalers is that it really helps to be able to take down deals yourself if that makes sense for that deal, or if you have a hard
Of
time
course.
finding an end buyer for kind of a unique deal that is still a really good deal. So any final thoughts on that aspect of it, of being able to actually buy these properties yourself, and how important is that? Especially if someone is thinking about getting into wholesaling, but they're not quite ready to actually flip a house or buy a rental themselves yet. What would you say to that person?
I would say it's important. It can help you make more money and monetize more leads, but it's doesn't mean like you won't be able to find opportunities and wholesale them. But let's say I'm looking at one and I can't find a buyer. That's if I can't find a buyer and I've done a pretty good job at like trying to market the property and get it out to people, it's usually an indicator that it's probably not something I want to take on if no one else wants to take it on. But if it is something that like I feel really good about and I just can't find that right person, finding money is not difficult, right? Like if you have a good deal, hard money lenders, private money, you can raise money pretty easily. I didn't know this until I got into this space, but like if you were to reach out to me and be like, "Hey Nate, do you know someone that would fund this?" and it meets the criteria of like a good deal, and if you don't know what a good deal is yet, that's fine because that takes time to like know. Let's just say it's less than Zillow, right? Like oh
Yeah.
no, a lot less actually, but it just can't be retail. But anyway, being able to take it down will help you do more deals. But if you're new to this, don't feel like you need to immediately take deals down, especially if you. I didn't like taking. I didn't want to take deals down when I first got started. I just wanted to wholesale it, and then eventually I got more confident and understood what stuff was worth and what was worth me buying myself. So anyway, it's a wholesaling for anybody that's listening to this. It's a great way to get your foot in the door. Now, is it something you'll always do for the rest of your life? I don't think so. I think it's just a good tool to have in your tool belt if you want to get into real estate investing because you can't monetize on everything that you come across. Like you can't take everything. Well, when I say monetize, you can't keep everything, right? Like sometimes you're gonna have like three projects that are flips, and you're like, well, I can't flip three houses. So what do you do with the other two that you don't want to keep? You can wholesale them. So it's a good avenue to make money on stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to get into real estate investing without much cash, and to develop some of those skills of finding good deals. And if you do become an active real estate investor later, flip houses or do burr deals, buy rental properties, uh, it's also a great way to fund some of those deals that you end up keeping. So
That's
I
right.
love all of that. Nathan, in 30 seconds or less, how do you help people, and how can people connect with you if they want to take you up on that help?
Well, whether you're part-time or full-time or want to get into this as a full-time business, I help people get started and get deals consistently. I teach them how to be entrepreneurs in real estate. A lot of people that come into, real estate, they're interested, but they don't have the skill sets yet to build like a business and really know how to be consistent because this game takes being a real estate investor takes consistent action, right? So I help people do that and get consistent deals and yeah, so people come to me if they need help, and yeah, I help them through. I have an apprenticeship program, so it's not like a mentorship where you hop on a call a week and you get to ask a couple questions and that's it. I actually like help people close their deals and get them to the next step.
Love it. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for joining us today. And guys, if you enjoy these quick, focused conversations that we have, please rate and review the show. It makes a world of difference to us. And on that note, we will catch you next time. Want the cash flow, appreciation, and tax benefits of real estate without becoming a landlord? You've heard of REITs and real estate crowdfunding, but you probably don't know much about 5 other ways to invest passively in real estate. So we put together a free video course for you to show you how to consistently earn 15% plus returns from 5 lesser known hands-off ways to invest in real estate. And even more importantly, we'll keep risk front and center in that whole discussion. Because really, what's the point of investing for high returns if you also take on high risk, right? So visit sparkrental.com/free to take our free course. Each video is snackable at 10 to 15 minutes long, and the entire course takes less time than watching a movie. Looking forward to chatting with you from within the course.